Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, back and just so jet lagged. Sam, how are you feeling? Jet lagged, yeah, we're both pretty tired. We're back from Orlando. Just before this video, I want to give a shout out to one or two people who helped us out over the course of the week. First of all, big shout out to Scott and Issa for giving me lovely bobble hats. Didn't bring them in because I'm rubbish, but I will wear them on a video in the future. Big shout out to Eric, who gave a few of us a lift back from, or got us an Uber back from our little video in the park. Very nice of him. We did pay him, of course. We weren't just mooching off him, but a very nice man as well. Thanks to those guys. Thanks to everyone who attended all of our things over in Orlando. But you know what? It's been like a few days since then, since we got back, and there's just so much news. So let's get to the news. This is the fast count. Let's go. First, let's start off with all of this week's WWE news, and at the start of the week, of course, WWE announced a Superstar Shakeup. Basically, everyone seems to think this is going to be kind of a mini draft. All the wrestlers apparently are eligible, apart from Summer Rae, who did tweet, my name's not on the post, my face isn't on the poster, that's a bit strange, but I digress. Here are some of the biggest rumours that have come out in the days following the announcement. Number one, AJ Styles to Raw, that'll be very interesting. Number two, Roman Reigns to SmackDown. I can't see that one happening. I can't see Roman Reigns and John Cena, both of the two big figurehead baby faces, appearing on the same brand. Then again, Cena's taking time off, maybe, but I think Roman Reigns will stay on Raw, surely. The third big one is Charlotte potentially going over to SmackDown as well, to sort of change up the women's division. Next up, we have to take a look at the case of JBL, because it's always been known throughout his career that he's been a controversial figure backstage. Some have branded him an enforcer of the locker room, others have branded him a bully, and those bullying accusations have reared their heads once again. This has all been sparked by two things over the past few days. Number one, Mauro Ranallo's recent absence from WWE events over the past few weeks. Now, Mauro has suffered from depression for a long time, including, prior to WWE, and there's, allegations that JBL has bullied him or has treated him in a very unprofessional way, which has certainly not helped those mental health problems. Also, Justin Roberts, who I met at Wale Mania and did an interview with, which should be on the channel soon, he explained in his book that JBL bullied him as well, particularly on tour with the company to places like England, where his passport was allegedly stolen. All these kinds of things. JBL has taken to Twitter to deny that he bullied Roberts and said that everyone hated him, which certainly doesn't paint a man who's been, called a bully in the best of lights. I think it's probably time for us to re-examine JBL's backstage incidents, and WWE will be hoping that this whole thing blows over. But should it? Should he get off the hook? I'd have to disagree, and I'm sure that King Ross would as well. Oh my word. Finally, in WWE news, Simon Gotch has been released from his WWE contract, apparently by mutual consent. Why are you nodding?
Didn't like the Vaudevillains.
You didn't like the Vaudevillains?
Nah.
Well, Aiden English is still there.
Yeah, but apparently they're going to rebrand it.
There's rumours of a singles push as a singer.
As a singer, yeah.
Mutual consent.
Bye, God.
Now it's time for all the news from elsewhere in the world of wacky wrestling news. But I've cheated a little bit because one of these points does concern WWE as well. What can I say? Everything in wrestling has been centered in Orlando for pretty much the whole week, with the exception of New Japan, where nothing really interesting happened. Cody Rhodes will be in the G1 Climax. That's an extra little one for you there. But here's all the rest of the news from elsewhere in the insane world of wrestling. First of all, let's go over to Impact Wrestling, where there was an excellent match this week between Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, former tag partners and rivals in Ring of Honor. Now they are engaged in a bit of a blood feud, where it's implied that Davey Richards' real-life wife, Angelina Love, is controlling him and pulling the strings. They had a brilliant match. And I also walked past Davey Richards at WrestleCon, and what a scary little man he was. I would not get on the wrong side of him. In fact, I regret calling him little just now. Now, you might think that was the most important feud on Impact, but no, in true Impact Wrestling fashion, they have decided to focus instead on a feud between non-wrestlers, Jeremy Borash and Josh Matthews. Two of the commentators. Josh Matthews is doing kind of a Michael Cole heel gimmick, but even worse. Next week there will be a 4-on-4 match where the loser, or the guy whose team loses, will be released from his commentary position, and the competitors in that match are as follows: Team Borash, Alberto El Patron, Chris Adonis or Masters, Matt Morgan, and our boy, bloody British Magnus, innit? Team Matthews will be Bobby Lashley, Bram, Eli Drake, and Tyrus, who we all knew as the Funkasaurus Rex Brodus Clay. Now for that piece of news, which technically does sort of fall within the parameters of other news, but does concern WWE. Sean Waltman has talked on his podcast about his experiences backstage at WrestleMania 33. First of all, he said that he doesn't think this will be Undertaker's last match. He does think the Dead Man will wrestle again. Sean, were you watching the same send-off that all the rest of us were? What are you thinking? What was he thinking? What are you thinking? And secondly, in this sort of mini point, Sean Waltman also says that there was a bit of aggro backstage after the pre-show battle royal concerning the Big Show. Big Show was of course meant to have a big marquee match with NBA star and legend Shaquille O'Neal. That match was scrapped for whatever reason. It was definitely Shaq's fault. And now Big Show, you know, apparently wasn't happy with the lack of spotlight he was given in the battle royal. It's very sad. His career seems to be coming to an end. And it doesn't deserve to come to an end with such a whimper, I would argue. And now, well, another piece of news, I guess, that sort of falls within WWE and the sort of cross, where the Venn diagram, the cross section. It's the Hardy Boys. They, of course, returned to one of the biggest pops I've ever seen at a wrestling event. But this concerns their gimmick. How broken exactly are the Hardys now? When I interviewed them after Ring of Honor, you can find that video on the WhatCulture Wrestling channel. They were totally in their broken characters, of course. But then, you know, when they returned in WWE, there was a bit of a weird kind of middle ground. Jeff Hardy was his old self doing all the stuff. They had their old music, but Matt Hardy was still kind of doing delete signs, and he came out doing his whole, his weird thing. How broken are the Hardys, and how broken are they allowed to be? We'll probably find out in the next few weeks. But for now, it seems like they're kind of in this weird middle ground where they're kind of under their old names and their old music, but they're kind of keeping the sort of the mannerisms that they've found themselves having in Impact Wrestling.
Also, there's no Z anymore, it's an S.
There's no Z, it's the Hardys.
Hardy Boys.
Oh, Boys with an S.
That was the Toronto one.
That's very strange. More on this as it, more, Sam, I can't take you seriously, but our tripod's a ladder currently. And finally, it's time for my Wrestler of the Week section, in which I choose someone who has impressed me the most over the past week, whether it's, you know, involving match quality storylines, general wrestling greatness, and all the rest of it. And this week, that goes to, and obviously it's been a packed week considering we've had Mania and all the fallout from that, it goes to Jeff Hardy. Not only did Jeff and Matt take part in one of the best matches of the entire WrestleMania weekend at Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor against the Young Bucks, they also had one of the best WrestleMania moments, in recent memory when they strode out at WrestleMania to a huge ovation, as they rightly should have done. Why didn't you choose Matt Hardy, Jack? Why didn't you choose the Hardy Boys collectively? Because this is Wrestler of the Week. I'm only allowed one, and Jeff jumped off more high things. That's justification enough, I feel. Yeah. And on that uncertain note, that's all for this week on the Fast Count. Who did you think was your Wrestler of the Week? Let us know in the comments below and give justifications. We're always happy to learn more about wrestlers, be they WWE, Ring of Honor, anywhere, you know, in the world of wrestling. Anyone that you saw at WrestleMania, if you saw them personally, give them a shout out in the comments below. But that's all for this week. I've been Jack from WhatCulture. I'm still jet lagged. I'm still so jet lagged. We'll see you very soon.